today I'll be talking about how I met my husband and of course how God can connect us divinely, connect us to our place of rest, just anywhere. I grew up in the eastern part of Nigeria. So like every other young girl, when it was time to get into the university, I wanted to get out of the East. I wanted independence. I wanted some sort of freedom. You know what I mean? Like every other young girl, we were tired of parental control. So I wanted to gain admission into University of Benin, Edo State in the western part of Nigeria. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately right now, that admission didn't work out. I remember I cried terribly. I wept sore. I felt like my dreams were shattered. So finally, I got admission into Abia State University, which was in the eastern part of Nigeria. And then before I got into school, I had joined Dominion City. Or maybe I'll do a film on the blessing that Dominion City has been to my life. Anyways, I joined Dominion City and I was looking out for the church around my school area. I didn't find it. So the following year after I joined, I was in a bus, in a shuttle going to school, and just seated right beside me was my husband. But guess what? He was a pastor of Dominion City and he just was inviting me for a program, a relationship program, just at that time. It was around February and he was inviting me for a relationship program. This is amazing. You see how the Lord just connects people from very ordinary scenarios and scenes and just seemingly, ordinary moves. And that's to tell me that God can connect you to your life partner anywhere. I know you have a dream to, you're asking the Lord, write my love story, make it magical, make it magnificent, and all of that. Yeah, but God can do that, but He can start in ordinary things. So please don't ignore your ordinary everyday life. Don't ignore the people that you meet in your everyday life, your classroom, just everywhere. God can use any relationship in your life to give you your rest. All right, so I was invited to church and I honored that invitation. And I loved the service. It was powerful. It was beautiful, like the Dominion City Church I had known. And then I just was excited. I had found my church. And just immediately, I joined the choir. You know how, even if you don't have the voice, you just join a church and you're thrust into the choir. That was exactly what happened to me. And I began to serve. I served in the choir. I spent 5 years in school, so I served in the choir. I served in the ushering department. I served as well in the equipment and sound department. You wouldn't believe that. I learned how to set the sounds, and then I used to set sounds in church service. After a while, I became the church administrator as well. And after being church administrator, I became single ladies coordinator. So I moved from one level of service, one level of loyalty, to the next level. And this is, something that we need to learn as young people, that anywhere you find yourself as a campus student, please serve. I need to say this. Your most interesting time of life is your campus life. You cannot ignore how God can use your season, that little season of independence, to change your life forever. Unfortunately, many young people don't know this and they enter into school and in the bid to find freedom and get out of parental control, they miss their tracks. I want to tell you that campus season and age is not the time for wild partying. It's not the time for cohabitation, living with a young man or a young lady. It's not the time for just moving your life anyhow. Campus season of your life is your best time for God discovery, self-discovery, self-awareness, and community building. One of the most interesting seasons of my life was my campus because I built relationships, even the relationships that still pay me right till today. Friends who live abroad all over the world that God connected me to, and we are still bosom friends till now. All started from campus. You need that community. You need that accountability system. This is the best time. So I also find that sometimes young guys who get on campus are distracted when they find love way too early. And this really helped me because my husband was already in a relationship by the time I joined the school. So there was nothing about, finding love earlier than I should have. He didn't even know I could be the one. I was just busy loving the Lord. I was busy serving. I was doing what waiters do. So if you're waiting for your place of rest, you're waiting for your marriage to come, do what waiters do, serve. So I was busy serving the Lord. I have found many young destinies, many called young pastors who get on campus and in the bid to find a relationship, destroy the call of God upon their lives, destroy their destinies, and their lives begin to waste away. They now begin to mark time. So you don't need to awaken love before it's time. So even if you're a young campus pastor and the Lord is even telling you that, opening your eyes to a sister in church, don't spill yet. Don't tell the sister yet. Allow the relationship, the friendship, to flow very naturally. At the right time, it would mature. At the right time, the sister will stand out. Don't destroy what the Lord will have you with. And don't be too quick. So I was 7. So I could say that the highlight of how I met my husband was that I burnt my years in service to the Lord. By the time I was done and I left school, and then I got the first call from my husband, who just called to check up on me. And I said I was fine and all of that. And then the next day, he called yet again. Oh, when the call came 3 times consecutively, I knew I was in trouble. I was in good trouble. And that was how he started to ask me out. He wanted us to settle and all of that. And then guess what? 8 months after that, I kept saying no because I didn't want to settle. Like I told you, in the eastern part of Nigeria, even though I was preacher's kid, I didn't think I wanted to marry a pastor, and I also didn't think my husband was my kind of person. I wanted a fair guy and all of that. I wanted somebody fair and stuff. But of course, I looked beyond the container to the inner man, to the content. He stood out for me. He was seriously coming. Sometimes we have relationships, people are hanging around us, full of friends, and who make 1 step forward and 10 steps backward. No, he was seriously coming. It took me 8 years, but I had to say yes. So the first thing I did was that I prayed. I went to ask the Lord. I went on 3 days fasting, and I was asking the Lord, should I go ahead? Because already I was seeing other people. There were other friends in my life. I had crushes here and there. Please don't judge me. All right. So, and I was asking the Lord, please, if you leave me, I'm not going to choose this guy, but I want to do your bidding. I want to do your will. Another mistake I find that young people make is that they put chemistry first before God's bidding, the will of God. I know the will of God that you're used to. I know you don't want to hear that, but please, your first priority is the spiritual. You need to pray. Come on. You need to ask the Lord. You don't need to make mistakes. You don't need to probably repeat your parents' negative cycle. No, you need to pray. And I went on 3 days and I was asking the Lord, should I not? Do I go ahead? Is this the man for me? Please speak to me. And I was very vulnerable and very transparent. One of the mistakes that young people make is that sometimes when we come before the Lord, our desires are already there, blocking the will of God. So even though you're asking the Lord to show you, you already know who you don't want and who you want. And you're telling the Lord, no way, don't call this brother, don't mention this sister. But I went with an open heart and I was asking the Lord, please, is this the one for me? Do you want me to take this route? Is this your desire for my life? And of course, the Lord didn't speak to me, or maybe I didn't hear anything for the 3 days. And I stopped praying and I just went about my everyday life. But something happened. Guess what? 2 weeks later, I know you're finding my story interesting. Please subscribe, like this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have very wonderful value and great content for you. Your life will change forever just hooking up to this channel. Please subscribe, share to your friends. You may save someone's life who is about to make this decision. So of course, and after prayer, 2 weeks after, something dramatic happened. There was someone I was in a relationship, no, not really relationship, had a crush on. He was my friend. He was already making advances towards me. I could see the green light and I liked him. And I was already responding with a green light too, because that seemed like the future I wanted to have, and all of that stuff. So, but 2 weeks later, I had a dream where I walked into this young man's life, his home, and I was rejected. Everybody said no. Oh, I woke up from that dream and I knew the Lord had spoken to me because I had been praying. So I knew that this was the Lord's voice to me. And that was it. I didn't need any soothsayer. I ended that feeling chemistry. It ended there, just right there. I was now ready to do the bidding of the Lord. This is amazing. However, the story still continues because at this point, my husband was already getting tired because I was keeping him waiting. I didn't want to say yes. So, but I got to the point where, as a young Christian girl, I didn't feel it was right to now call him and say yes. I wanted him to ask again because this was just about 7 months or 6 months after. He wasn't asking anymore, but he was still interested. So you, this young guy, you're already giving someone a green light and you feel she's no longer interested. Please ask again. I was waiting for my husband to ask again. Anyway, something miraculous happened. I had a conversation with my friend all through the night and I was telling her, I'm ready now. But as a naive Christian girl, I didn't think it was right to initiate this move again, to call him and say, I'm ready. So the phone cut and I was typing my heart and pouring it to my friend. But unfortunately for me, mistakenly, I sent it to my husband instead of my friend. Oh, immediately he read it, he shouted, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes. And that was how I said yes to him. So I would say that the things that the Lord did, the highlights of my journey to finding my rest, my place of rest. Of course, I'm grateful to the Lord that I took that decision. It couldn't have been anyone else. I married my best friend for life. And I pray for you, especially if you're at the brink of making that decision, that you won't marry wrong. Now I need to share with you the highlights. I think the highlight was service to God. It stood out for me. I burnt my campus years in service to the Lord. Don't burn yours if you're still a student watching this video. Don't burn yours moving around town in wild partying, getting relationships here and there, having men and women break your hearts over and over, cohabiting with a young man. No. You don't need all that experience to have your dream come to pass. You don't need that, peer pressure. God has provided you a platform with which you can learn. And I'm telling you the truth. If you want to settle well, this is a magical pathway. Put your life into discovering who you are. See, your life partner is in your calling. Yes, I can say that again. The more you discover God, that's how you would even know who can fit into your destiny. The more you discover vision, that's how you know who you can join your life with. So, and it's in service that vision is made clearer. It's in a place of service that you even discover yourself. There's self-awareness. It's in the place of service that you build genuine community, people that are real friends. It's in place of service that you hone your skills. It's in the place of service that you hone your callings. It's in the place of service that the real friends that you share same values with will stand out. Please, I want to encourage you. Let nobody intimidate you because you're serving on campus. Now I know the place of serving and not taking your academics and your studies seriously. You need to learn that balance. So that was also one of the things that helped me. I learned the balance of my academics and serving in the house of the Lord. But you cannot take away that place of service. So as you're going to school, studying, building your academics, please don't forget to build your ministry as well. And your calling. And you see that the Lord will just divinely, like a grid, connects you to your life partner, connect you to the woman of your dreams. Don't be scared. Don't let anybody pressure you. Don't let anybody also intimidate you on campus. Oh, be very proud of your service to the Lord. Take up responsibilities, take up opportunities. Even in the classroom, take up course rep if you have to. Take up SUG presidency, vie for positions. Just live your dreams, right? Right now, as a married person, if I have to make any travel, I need to take permission from my husband. But you, as an unmarried person, if you want to, this is the best time to go for conferences. This is the best time to go for camp meetings. This is the best time to travel around the world, going for trainings, honing your skills. You are in the most exciting time of your destiny. Maximize it. Push it. Do your best. Build quality friendships. Build quality relationships, and your true life partner will emerge. I'll be doing a part 2, and that part 2 will be 5 places you can meet your life partner. You don't want to miss it. I've dropped the link in the description box. Just go there, click on it, and you're going to learn. This will help you position yourself well to know where your spouse or your lover can come from. I want to pray for you today. You will not make any mistake, I tell you. You will make mistakes. You won't marry wrong. You won't be distracted. You will be focused. Your eyes will be single. And God will, I don't care whether you're coming from a family where real marriage and good marriage wasn't modeled. Your parents are not our final authority. God is our final authority. And by God's promise, you will marry well. Your destiny will turn out well. And you will live your best life. God bless you. Remember to please subscribe if you found this video very valuable. Kindly subscribe. Click on the subscription button, the red button. You're going to find it there. And then please share to your friends. You may be saving someone. And of course, like this video so that many more people can have access to it. God bless you. Thank you for hanging in with me. God bless you. See you same time next week for another powerful edition on Calling with Your Show. All right. Bye.